Suicide is the #1 cause of death for active duty military personnel. Suicide, that's what we're talking about today. Suicide in the military. Suicide is the number one cause of death in active members of the U.S. military today. The number 22 represents the number of active military personnel that commit suicide each day. Think about that. 22. 22. Now, let's put this in perspective. 22 is 4 times as many deaths by suicide than those killed in any action that we've had. In any action, we have 4 times as many deaths due to suicide than any active duty member has died from. So let's put this more in perspective. Since 9/11, the bombing at the World Trade Center, and this is 2022, there have been 30,177 suicides from active members in the military. That's more people killed who are active members in the military than have actually died in combat. That's alarming. Okay? Now, we want to get to, let's see, how can we say, what's the root of the problem in psychology? That you want to get to the root problem, and what could be that root problem? Well, let's just analyze it a little bit. And I know this is uncomfortable. This ain't we ain't shaking. Ain't no girls shaking their buttocks, and ain't no thong, and ain't no twerking going on around here. So I can't apologize for that. This is a serious subject, and it's uncomfortable. So I'm sure I'm gonna have 10s and 20 views. Okay, until stuff like this goes viral. 30,177 enlisted personnel will continue to commit suicide, and 22 will be the number every day until it rises to more, until something like this goes viral. And that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing awareness to this. So we're going to start with what we call the root problem. And the root problem would be, let's start with our military. All right. The military historically has had this masculine, macho culture that has created or has hid military sexual trauma. Military masculine machoism, in the military, they have hidden some of the military sexual trauma that some women have struggled with and had to endure in the military, as well as men. 55% of women and 38% of men have experienced sexual trauma in the military. 71% of women are seeking therapy for trauma from sexual military, you know what I'm saying, things that have happened, trauma that has happened in the military to women, trauma that has happened in the military to men sexually. That could be one of the problems, the root problems for suicide. Now let's go to this trauma. Trauma creates wounds on the inside. That's where we get the PTSD. Now, wounds from the past never fully go away. And untreated, they can turn into hopelessness, despair, isolation, and suicide. Okay? So, now let's address maybe something else in the military. The difficulty with returning home after you've done your tour. Okay? Once we see our military people, hey, thank you for your service. Those are platitudes. Thank you for your service. If you care about them, repeat this video and let's help it go viral so we can get some awareness out there to the 30,177 people that have committed suicide, active members, the 22 a day that are committing suicide on a daily. Thank you for your service. Yes, show them that you care. When military personnel come home, they come home to disinterested people. 42% of voting Americans didn't even know we were still at war until the troops were brought home from Afghanistan recently. 42% of voting America didn't even know we were still at war until they had the troops withdraw. So when they come home, our military personnel needs to be invited to come join the community, to be a part of the community. But they came home right in the middle of COVID. In the middle of COVID. So right now I'm on video. If you're out there, if you are from a military home and you're experiencing some problems, you want somebody to just talk to, chop it up, keep you on the straight and narrow, just to let them know that you care, hit me up. I talk to you. Free consultations. I'll talk to you all day. Hit me up. We can Zoom. We can Zoom. Military. Hit me up. How can we help? The government says they're helping. I've written them. I've offered my services. They tend to fall on deaf ears. They've allotted money for, oh yes, I'm qualified. I got a degree in psychology. Now, they have best practices. When standard practices don't work, you try something different. You try something new. I'm not saying that the military is not trying. I'm just saying something else needs to be tried. That's all I'm saying, because 22 a day is 22 too many. Suicide in the military, something needs to be done. And that's what this post is about. And I want you to take this to heart with me. Now, one other thing is the mental health is another reason for the suicides. Mental health. We deploy the troops. We expect everything out of our be all you can be. Hoorah! We expect them to protect us. And they do. They go protect us, and they keep this nation one of the strongest nations in the world. But when they come home, they have mental health problems. One of the problems that they've suffered from is from the IEDs. IEDs, the what do they call them? Improvised explosive devices, or the TBIs, the traumatic brain injuries. Now, thanks to medical breakthroughs, we have made it over there where they were in Afghanistan and in war, in areas like that, where the IUDs, they have been able to survive. Our troops have been able to survive an explosion. But do you know what our military has done? They've redeployed them again and again and again, 10, 15, sometimes as many as 20 times to re-experience this trauma. PTSD, trauma, boom. Now we need to fix it. How can we fix it? We fix it with awareness, and we fix it with some love and some therapy. Now, suicide was rampant with the police officers in South Africa, with the apartheid, and I predict that suicides from the insurrection and a lot of the discourse that we're having in this country is going to follow us for the future. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you will repeat your mistakes. Suicide in the military, the #1 cause of death, suicide for an enlisted personnel. Thanks for listening. Laff Therapy. Repeat this. Be sure and leave a comment. And subscribe to Laff Therapy. Till next time, give it up for the military. Thank you for your service.